Hi, and welcome to Rudy Sassu's Science Fantasy Experience, and to an episode of Childhood Toys. And the childhood toy that I have for you this time is Bandai's Robo machine, Super Gobots, Herr Fiend, and this is the silver variant, because it also came in black as well, back in 83-84. It's not my original. I picked this up a few weeks ago when I went to the NEC Toy Fair. Unexpectedly, I might add. It was not on my agenda or on my wish list or, remotely in my mind to kind of pick up Gobots or any sort of transforming robot. I'm pretty good for Transformers in general. Definitely don't have Gobots in the collection until now. So as I said, it wasn't on my thoughts when I was at the toy fair. Pretty much Mask was on on the wish list, and we all know how that turned out. Awesome, obviously. So yes, I picked up Herr Fiend, and it is the silver one I had as a kid. I originally got it back in Christmas of 1984, and I think is the most powerful memory I have of toys. It's the most conscious memory I have of toys as well. I feel like it's the very first toy I had and played with a lot. There is photographic evidence of me with other toys. I know that there's photos at my mum's house of me with the Pally Toy Big Loader, the motorised construction set, and I believe it's a Fisher-Price airplane. So there's definitely toys that came before the Gobots Herr Fiend. But as I said, it was a Christmas present in 1984. That Christmas, my mum and dad and my brother, we went and spent Christmas morning with my great aunt and uncle. Randomly, that was the theme of the year, was to go and see those relatives of my mum. And I was allowed to take one toy, or one Christmas present, from under the tree. And I picked this, unbeknownst to me. I picked up the square-looking, beautifully wrapped present. So I was allowed to take one with me to open in the morning, and then when we got back home at lunchtime or the afternoon, and that's when the real present opening took place. So I'd got one to open. You can't take a kid somewhere on Christmas Day and then say, oh, we're just going to be here for a while. You've got no presents to open or anything to play with. And we get there, we get to my great aunt and uncle's house, and it's obviously my mum and dad are chatting with them, and my brother, who's a little bit older at the time, I think he must have been like 12, he's watching like Top of the Pops Christmas special, and I'm like sitting there waiting because I know there is a Christmas present to open. So I sit and wait patiently, to building up the excitement. I've probably got a Cadbury selection box in me. I've eaten Curly Whirlies and Fudges and all that jazz. And then obviously once all the hellos and the catch up is done and all that with my mum and dad, they're like, oh, do you want to go and open your present? And I do. I rip off the paper as quickly as possible, as you do when you're a kid, when you're 5-6 years old, and I open Gobots, as of which I start to cry immensely. I cry like there is no tomorrow. I have an absolute tantrum, a very disappointed, frustrated, angry crying session, along with the lines of, I hate it, I'm never going to play with it, I don't want it, I didn't ask for it. All of the awful things that you say when you're a child, when you're angry and upset on Christmas Day, full of chocolate and sugar, and probably white lemonade. And like that, it's such a powerful memory that I just remember, in some ways, the look on my mum's face, that like I've been incredibly horrible about a toy that's just been given to me. And the reason why I'm so angry and upset is because it's a Gobot. Because it is not an official Hasbro Transformer. Bear in mind, at this point, I've not even looked at it. All I've seen is Super Gobots, and looked straight away at the box and seen that it's not, it's not a Transformer. Which is, looking back, it is the most preposterous thing to do. I love Gobots, I love Transformers, but obviously for that moment in time it was not the case. At that moment in time I hated Gobots. I just wasn't interested in Gobots at all. And I just think it's really, really foolish, because I love transforming robots. And ever since that day, I've never compared the two, because they are dramatically different. And, if you like Transformers, you're going to like transforming toys. Why are you not going to like Gobots? I think they're just as good, if not better, than Transformers for some cases. And the same goes for Transformers. There is way better Transformers than the Gobots. But there has been, definitely in the 80s, and even through my whole toy collecting life, there's always been this underlining thought of the Gobots being inferior and a poor man's Transformers and all that goes with it. And I'm still at a loss why. They're ridiculously good, and they are so different from Transformers. Some G1 Transformers are incredible, don't get me wrong, and some Gobots are incredible, which will be my case in point when we have a proper look at Herr Fiend. Some G1 Transformers are a pile of rubbish, and they do not even compare to Gobots. If you're talking about, I say something like maybe Slugslinger, look at the amount of kibble for that toy. Rubbish. And the same go, even if we think about this, Gobots is rubbish compared to Transformers. If we take it away from the toys, there is Transformers episodes that are abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. The animation is so badly done, so out of scale, so many errors, wrong factions, wrong insignias, wrong scale. There is an episode where Ultra Magnus picks up 2 Constructicons. Seriously? Awful. Don't get me wrong, there's incredible episodes, the Call of the Primitives is possibly the greatest animated episode ever. But when you think about Gobots, maybe because it was done by Hanna-Barbera, it's fluid all the way through. There is not kind of hardly any animation errors, so in some ways is Gobots better than Transformers? I'm sure this debate rages on. But back to the toy. It's incredible, and it's making me cry. It's making me bawl my eyes out for a good 10-15 minutes, and my parents are trying to console me and calm me down. Unbeknownst to me, at the time I'm having this mega tantrum, which as a kid I never really had tantrums. That was like pretty much the only time. My brother, as I said, he was years older than me. He was I was 5, he was 12. And obviously a 12-year-old can see a Transformer or a Gobot and work it out pretty quickly. So he's got it out of the box and figured out the transformation. He has also stickered it all up, and he has stickered it up exactly the same as the one that I bought a few weeks ago. And he's done all this without me noticing, and figured out how all the transformation works, sticked it up beautifully. So when I have calmed down, 15 minutes later, he comes and grabs me and shows it to me, and I'm blown away by it. I then just don't even care that it's a Gobot. I don't care that it's not a Transformer. I can see the awesomeness of Herr Fiend, and he showed me the transformation backwards and forwards, how it all worked, how I could play with it, and it became one of my most beloved toys growing up, so much so that it really didn't survive much past 1990. It was so played with and so chipped. It had gone on holidays, it had been transformed multiple times, and it's hard to think that it was completely just the worst moment in my life that made me cry so much, and not knowing that my brother had sneaked away to go and sticker it up and figure out how it works. It's such a powerful memory, and it's such an amazing toy that it makes that memory super powerful. My brother sadly died a few years ago, and I don't think he definitely never knew what this toy, this Gobot Herr Fiend, means to me in terms of a toy and a memory. He knew that I liked toys and I toy collected here and there. He didn't know the true power of what he did and what this toy means to me. And now that he's gone, I can never tell him. I'm unable to let him know what this toy means to me. And he's never seen me become a YouTuber and make these videos, which is a real shame, because the toy is as powerful and amazing as the memory. So let's have a proper look at the toy in the box.
So here we have the box for the Super Gobots Herr Fiend, and it has been well over 30 years since I've seen this box. I just didn't keep boxes as a kid, and it is bringing back a whole flood of nostalgia and emotion. Yeah, the box is in better days. You know, it's been taped back up and there's, you know, damage here and there, but it's not really about the damaged box. That's, you know, that's part and parcel of it. You know, boxes did get damaged, but yeah, I just didn't keep boxes as a kid. But, you know, seeing it again, it really is just bringing back that Christmas day for me. And the boxes are so good. They're big and they're different to Transformers. There's just a different style of artwork. You know, maybe Bandai was the competing company in Japan at the time, but I just love this airbrushed artwork going on there with the lasers, you know, and how the toy works, and then just opening it up is where the real magic happens. Yeah, it's going a bit yellow, but to be honest, I'm not going to be displaying it in the box. I'm going to have the box near. I might have it displayed in front of the box, but this is a toy that I'm going to play with to remind myself of that Christmas day and those 5 or 6, 7 years that came afterwards. And you've got the other Guardians that were available. You've got Bug Bite, there's Herr Fiend, Baron Von Joy, Leader 1. I believe that's Zemon, who is the same kind of transformation as Herr Fiend, but it's just really evocative of the time. You know, it is that matte painting inside. You've got the airbrushed art on the front, and then the matte painting on the back. You know, it is in some ways similar to the backs of, you know, the Hasbro Transformers, but there's something very different to it. You know, that in some ways they're more mecha. You know, when this was released, I'm presuming that the Gobots TV show had not been aired, or it had been aired and they just transferred the packaging over, because there isn't actually anything that identifies Challenge of the Gobots logo. And then the back, you can see the other Guardians and the Renegades, which they're not actually alluded to on here. So, you know, they're just called Friendly Robot and Enemy Robots. Yeah, you can see you've got Psykill, Bugbite, Destroyer, Herr Fiend, Warpath, Baron Von Joy. I kind of always wanted Baron Von Joy as a kid. You know, Porsches had got a pretty good going for toys in the 80s. There's a whole slew of Gobots and Transformers that got Porsches. Sadly not masked though. Gloria Baker's car, the Shark, never to be seen. And then you've got the bigger places, the Command Center and the Renegade Zod. So yeah, it's just it's a really, really cool box. And it's great to see the other ones in the wave. I've spoken about card backs before, how it was just a glorious time when you got to see the other waves, and you know, you make the choices of what you want in the wave. You know, as the subsequent years go by, maybe you get, you know, a couple of Renegades and you get a couple of Guardians. I also had Leader 1 at one point. I remember swapping my Retgar in the playground for a Leader 1. I don't know who really got the best deal out of that. And the other one I would have liked is Bugbite. It's really big and chunky, and it's a great representation of a Volkswagen Beetle. And not that I did compare at the time, and I certainly don't compare. No, it's another great version of a Volkswagen Beetle, you know, Bumblebee at the time. So that has been the box for Herr Fiend. Let's move on to the robot. So here's Herr Fiend in its alt mode, the Porsche 928S. And it is an incredibly faithful rendition of the Porsche. You cannot even tell that there is a robot hiding in there, or a mecha. Obviously, if you turn it upside down, you're going to see robot limbs. But obviously, who displays their toys upside down? But the metallic cyan colour really, really shines. It's so vivid and it's so good. And it's such a good condition for a toy from, what is it, 84, 85? It just looks exactly the same as a Porsche. The only thing that gives it away is, you know, a few panel lines, which at the end of the day, you know, if you're looking at certain Matchbox cars or Corgi cars, they're still going to have panel lines too. Something that has always fascinated me though with the Gobots is the fact that they put the silver drivers, the pilots, in their mechas, in their toys, their robots. I just think it's such a neat idea, very Japanese. But yeah, that is the alt mode, all the curves that make up a signature Porsche. And it is heavy. It's got a vast amount of die cast in it. All this is die cast here. Plastic legs, the doors are die cast, and I know that when I got onto the robot mode, some of the legs and the feet, they're die cast as well. Herr Fiend in its alt mode. Transformed up into its robot mode, and as you can see, it's pretty faithful to the box. That's exactly how it looks on the box. In terms of articulation, it's going to be limited. You know, it's a toy from the early 80s. You can literally only move the arms. But with that, you can recreate the box art. which is, for someone like me, I like to have a couple of things displayed like they looked on the box. But other than that, it's a big, it's a big robot. It's a big transforming robot. And again, it's heavy. As I said, all this is die cast. Plastic feet, but all the legs die cast, this body part die cast. Obviously the hood, as I mentioned before. And that's plastic. But all this body work, all die cast. Why the hell was I crying so intently as a child when it really is this awesome? There's no kibble whatsoever. It is a bit plain on the back, but why do you display your figures backwards? You don't. But there is detail. You've got robot detail on the back, and you've got an extra bit of dials and circuitry to make it look like an actual mecha and a robot, a shiny sticker. There, so yeah, this is Herr Fiend's alt mode. Robot mode even.
Getting reacquainted with a toy I've not had for 30 years has been incredibly emotional. I'm not one to reacquire the toys I had as a kid. Yes, I want to get ones from the toy lines I had as a kid, but not specific toys that I've already had at a point in my life. But sometimes you just need to. The case goes for this Herr Fiend. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.